Well, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, we have many stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. We're going to be talking a little bit about Syrian Latakia, and is it really better than Cyprian Latakia? And then we will talk about subtitles. I have a little mini rant on subtitles and people who can't seem to enjoy a movie if it has subtitles. And then we'll get to your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings. So let's get into it. Okay, upcoming videos. What can you look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays? Well, I mentioned Syrian Latakia. And this coming week on Wednesday, I will be posting a video in the Pure Pipe Varietals series in which I try pure Syrian Latakia. And this was provided by our good friend Chad Curtis. He sent that giant box full of amazing blends and components like this pure Syrian Latakia. And so thanks to him, I was able to do the video. We did a pure Cyprian Latakia video in the past. Now we're doing pure Syrian Latakia. So more about Syrian Latakia in the rest of this episode. I also have, let me get one of these off, a video coming up about my Chisos boots. The Chisos #1 in brushed brown leather. Remember, these were provided to me by Chisos, don't forget that. But I was able to go visit them at their storefront in Austin and got these amazing boots, and I've been wearing them. I wanted to wear them enough for me to actually feel comfortable doing a video review. And because I don't wear them for work, obviously I do concrete work and I would ruin them in a day if I did that, in spite of the fact that they seem very robust, but they would just get trashed. I'm wearing them in my off hours, and so, you know, I want to actually have a couple weeks in order to wear these and really get them broken in. So I'm going to do, I still haven't decided if I'm going to do a timeless style video and review of the Chisos boots at the same time, because I want to do a timeless style video about cowboy boots, or if I want to do two separate videos, and in the timeless style video I will feature the Chisos boots. But that will be coming up the week after this coming week. So we have Syrian Latakia this Wednesday, and then the next Wednesday we will have either a separate review of the Chisos #1 or a timeless style video with the Chisos #1. I also wanted to mention that a review of this knife, the Bark River Aurora Scandi in CPM 3V, will be coming up fairly soon as well. This knife is fantastic. I absolutely love it. It has this burgundy micarta, I think linen micarta handle, mosaic pins, just a gorgeous, gorgeous knife. I really like this a lot. So a review of that will be coming up fairly soon as well. And then I want to do more in the Timeless Style series, even though the Ray-Ban episode, not many people have watched. Maybe I'll put a link up here. Please watch that video. I want people to watch the Timeless Style videos, please. I want to do more in that series. And then of course, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, more episodes in the Elden Ring series are continuing to be posted. It was kind of a tortured sentence, but Kevin the Kurt's adventures are continuing. I love that game so much. I know most of you who are watching it really love the game and love the series, so please continue checking that out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Stuff and Things Plays. All right, Syrian Latakia. Many people in the pipe community speak of Syrian Latakia in hushed tones. It has the same kind of reputation as blends like any of the esoterica blends, any of those blends that are super hard to get, and sometimes they develop, I don't know if I would even say hype, because that suggests that maybe it's not warranted, but sometimes the lack of availability makes people more enthusiastic about a certain blend. And with Syrian Latakia, ever since around 2010, it just isn't really available anymore. There were some manufacturers or some blenders who had stores put away and they were still using them in blends, probably most famously in HH Vintage Syrian by McFadin. So for a while you could still get blends that had Syrian Latakia in it. pretty much gone now. I don't know if there are any blends left that still have Syrian Latakia that are being manufactured today. And if you know anything about Latakia, you will know that it was originally produced in Syria, in the city of Latakia. And once the supply from there started to become more difficult to obtain, most of the production shifted over to Cyprus. And I mean, there were people producing it in Cyprus anyway, but that was just kind of a variety of Latakia, and now it's kind of the only Latakia that you can get. And there's a difference. They use perhaps different varietals of teas that they grow. The processing is slightly different from Syria to Cyprus, and it creates a different character. I would say that the Cyprian Latakia is a little more raw-edged, a little more bold. I'm sure many of you have your own thoughts about that. And I did the Trying Pure Pipe Varietals video on Syrian Latakia, and it was definitely interesting. It was definitely very distinct from Cyprian Latakia. But I would like to raise the question, and I would like your opinions in the comments below. Is it really better than Cyprian Latakia? It's definitely different in my book, but is it better? To me, I would say the answer is no. And it's not to say that I don't love Syrian Latakia, and I haven't loved it in some of the blends that I've tried it in, and just being able to experience it, just the pure form of Syrian Latakia in the video that I just recorded today. It was really good and really interesting. But even though Syrian Latakia and Cyprian Latakia are similar, they're in the same family, they're very much kind of relatives, I guess, close relatives. I wouldn't say that Syrian Latakia would always be a better choice in a blend, because sometimes I think you really want the more rough-edged boldness of Cyprian Latakia. I'd say in a blend like one of my just favorite standard English blends, Dunhill, well, formerly Dunhill Standard Mixture and now Peterson Standard Mixture, I think the Cyprian Latakia would work, or does work, better in it than Syrian would, because Syrian is more mellow, it is a little more nuanced, I think it's more capable of being overpowered by different components. And I know you could probably try to balance the other components in, let's say, hypothetically, Peterson Standard Mixture and make it work better. But if you were to just take out the Cyprian Latakia in Standard Mixture and shove in the Syrian, I don't know that I would like it better. I think I would prefer the Cyprian in that blend. And I know that most people who have heard of Syrian Latakia and they know that it's hard to get, they know it's pretty much impossible to get now, they may just feel automatically, well, it must be better. But I'm curious if you guys have any ideas. I know, you know what? I wish I could get my hands on some old stock versions of a blend that has Syrian Latakia and that now has Cyprian Latakia in it, all things being equal. That's still no guarantee that they haven't changed any of the other components in the blend to kind of balance things out, but it would really be cool to get an A to B comparison and say like, okay, in this version, in this particular blend, it's better with Syrian. In this particular blend, it's better with Cyprian. But I don't think that it's always going to be the one-size-fits-all solution. I think sometimes the bolder, rawer, wilder edge that Cyprian Latakia has would be better in a particular blend. And I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Okay, and now a quick rant. It's going to be very hard for me to talk about this without sounding like an arrogant prick, and I really don't want to come off that way. But this came up because I was listening to a podcast. Okay, here's one way that I'm not an arrogant prick, or I shouldn't consider myself one, or you shouldn't think that I am one, because I'm going to reveal the fact to you that I was listening to a podcast about anime. So, not superior in any way. But it was a podcast where someone who had never watched a particular anime, had never watched anime at all, was watching a series with someone who I think makes a living posting videos on YouTube about anime. And it was basically the anime expert exposing his friend who was an anime virgin to this anime series and getting his thoughts about it. Because if you've never watched Japanese animation, there are a lot of tropes, a lot of conventions that would be just really weird to someone who had never seen it before. And people like me, I'm not obsessed about anime or anything, but I watched it as a kid and I still watch a few series every once in a while now. You just kind of get used to these things, like, you know, blood pouring out of somebody's nostrils when they see something that is titillating, or all sorts of things like that. It's just kind of conventions of anime. But anyway, they're watching this series together, and it was interesting to hear the layman's take on the layman's take on anime and just kind of the weird things that he was seeing. But they had a couple guests on, and they were encouraging the anime version to watch anime in the subtitled version and not dubbed. So in the original Japanese language, but with subtitles, as opposed to an English dub, where English actors dub over the voices in English. And one comment they kept making was that, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to watch something with subtitles. I know it's a chore. I know it's so much more difficult and maybe not as enjoyable, but you have a more accurate translation. A lot of the humor is better portrayed in the subtitle, all this stuff. And it has always struck me as such a weird thing that people say it's hard to watch something with subtitles. And this is where I'm in danger of sounding like a prick, but you know how to read, right? Right? Like, it's one of those things that I just don't understand. When people say, oh, I can't watch a subtitled movie, and this is obviously not just in anime, but in foreign films, all sorts of things, whatever your native language is, if you're watching something and you're not watching it in the original language with subtitles, I just don't get it. And that's the argument, is that it's hard to read the subtitles and pay attention to the movie. But if you're an adult human and you know how to read, then why is that hard? I really don't understand, and I would like someone else to explain it to me. Because in my experience, the original audio with subtitles is always preferable to a dub. And some people say, oh, with animation it doesn't matter because you don't have to worry about the lips not matching. It still matters. It's still the original intent of the creator is better portrayed through the original audio, the original dialogue with subtitles. And I don't know, if you're driving around on the street and you see a sign, you glance at it for a second, you know what it says. If you are getting a text message, you glance at your screen for 1 second, you can read that sentence in a millisecond and you know what it says. It's the same thing when you're watching a television screen or a device, whatever you're watching that thing on. You see the action, you see what's going on the screen. You have peripheral vision. Even if you're focusing on this, your eyes can still see that, oh, there's some new dialogue. You glance down for a fraction of a second. You read it, you comprehend it, and then you look back at the screen. I don't know why that's hard. And maybe it's just because I've done it for so long, like ever since I was a kid, I watched subtitled things, I watched a lot of subtitled movies. Maybe it's something that you have to practice, but I think if anyone is resistant to it, as long as you can read, I think if you just try it for a while, you will realize that it's superior to watching something that is dubbed in pretty much every case. And I'm sure there might be some weird thing, some weird example of something that is actually better in a dub version, but I doubt it. I'd just be curious to hear in the comments below. Again, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, like, oh, I'm better than you because I like to watch things subtitled, but I honestly don't understand the argument that it's hard. I don't know why that's hard. Maybe let me know why I'm wrong or why I'm an idiot or a jerk in the comments below. All right, gang, but now it is time for hashtag #AskStuffandThings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SATBradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings. You can also write to me via Patreon if you are a Patreon supporter, and your question will go to the front of the line. And you can leave comments, questions, and feedback on my YouTube videos, and I try to read through all of those and pick out the best ones every week. So first of all, on YouTube, I want to give a big thank you to Ben Dean, who gave me a $50 super thanks. That is ridiculous. Thank you so much, Ben. That is amazing. And of course, if somebody does a super thanks and they have a question for me, I will of course answer it on the next Sunday Stuff and Things. There is a little super thanks button down below this video. But Ben says, "Yo, Bradley, just wondering if you've ever heard of the game Little Nightmares. I guess I'm also wondering if you would play it on your other channel. I think you might enjoy it since you liked Inside. Anyway, I've been enjoying your content. Keep it up." Thank you, Ben, very much, and thank you again for that amazing donation. Ben, I have played Little Nightmares, and I have played Little Nightmares 2. So typically I only play games on the channel that I have never played before if I'm going to do a series, but I will definitely keep that in mind for the future. Thank you so much. And it was a great game, by the way. Next, we have a question from Jay Oren. It's not really a question. Well, it kind of is. It's all caps. "You have hair?" Question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point. And I think that was on the video I posted, I don't know, recently, where I wasn't wearing a hat. Yes, Jaron, I have hair. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I shave it off. So when I have shaved my head, I don't have hair. Or no, it's not Jared, it's Jay Oren. And when I have not shaved my hair, sometimes I do have hair. It's not as thick as it used to be, but I still have hair. Next from Magee. They said, "Not related to glasses or vision, but could you add the Henley to your Timeless Fashion series? I think they are a classic. Also, have you continued skateboarding?" Thank you, Majiggy. The Henley. I like Henleys. For those of you who don't know, a Henley is like a crew neck shirt, not like this, not with a collar, and it usually has a placket with 2 or 3 buttons. So I guess it would have been probably more common turn of the last century. Like that's kind of what underwear was if you had an undershirt. Because they didn't have elastic back then, you wouldn't have a neck that you could stretch over your shirt. It would be an open, not collar, but like a crew neck that had buttons and then you could fasten it up. I still really like the look of Henleys. I wear them a lot. Would I consider it an iconic, timeless piece of fashion? I guess so. But I think it would be harder to pick out, you know, like the Henley famously worn by this person or in this film. I don't know. I'll consider it because it is a fantastic look. I love Henleys a lot. Next, from this is from YouTube. We have feedback for the last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. I don't have this person's name on here, and I'm sorry, but a lot of people, oh, this is it. A lot of people were congratulating Diamond because I mentioned when I was going over our trip to Austin that she won Best Feature Screenplay in the Lake Travis Film Festival. And it was amazing. I'm so proud of her, and a lot of you were giving her congratulations, so thank you for that. Next, from Josh Stivers. "Aha! Nice to see you enjoying many of the places I frequent. Glad y'all had a good time, my man. Congrats to Diamond and love those deep brown boots you picked up. Great choice. We finally got a good hit of rain, so your expectations of dead brown, dry, arid-ass Texas would normally have been right. Scoop!" Oh, Scoop, is that from Game Scoop? I watch Game Scoop. I mentioned it last week. Yeah, so had it rained in Austin? Because it certainly didn't look like it was going to rain anytime soon when we were there. And that's kind of the weird thing is this summer has been super dry in the Pacific Northwest. Typically, our summers are very dry. It doesn't rain very much, but we usually get a little bit just kind of spread out, and we have not really gotten any at all. So on job sites, it's been really annoying because the dust has just gotten insane. When I take my boots off at the end of the day, my feet are just filled with dust. My feet are all muddy looking because dust has silted in through my boots and into my socks. It's really irritating, and I would like it to rain, please. Rain, please. Next, from, did I answer? Oh, damn it. I always do this. I forgot the second question that Majiggy asked. Also, have you continued skateboarding? I hadn't. I posted those videos like 2 years ago where I built a skateboard and then rode around on it for a little bit. It was the Ancient Man Try Skateboarding videos. And then I kind of just didn't do anything else with it. I think there was a lot of stuff going on with all the COVID stuff that was just really starting back then. And then I just got really busy with other things and I kind of let that fall by the wayside. But recently, since I hadn't really stepped on the skateboard for 2 years, I just stepped on it again last weekend, and I plan to go this weekend as well, so maybe there will be some updates in the future. It's still fun, it's still kind of alarming to roll around on that thing, but maybe in the future we'll have some updates on that, if I keep with it. Okay, so sorry, had some problems there. I often do that, where someone has a multi-part question and then I forget to answer the second part. Next, from Humpterdink. Not Humperdink, but Humpterdink. You mentioned Barton Springs, but you did not mention the temperature of the water. It's effing cold. I grew up in Austin, and yes, those giant cockroaches are a thing. I did not think the water in Barton Springs was cold. I think someone told me it was 68 degrees year-round. That didn't seem cold to me. If you go swimming in a lake here in Washington, I'm sure it's probably colder than 68 degrees. So it felt nice and refreshing, and it was a really hot day, so it felt great to jump in there. Next, from Hallie's Ledger and Lace. So awesome that Diamond got the award. Congratulations. Thank you. The first time I went to Texas, I got off the plane and it was 117 degrees. Yikes. And I felt all the moisture evaporate from the outer layers of my skin. 95 might have felt temperate in comparison. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't hit the 100-degree plus temperatures. It was interesting. I think maybe even last week you could have seen it in the video. My skin became like that of a desiccated mummy after having been there for a week. When I got home, I'd be looking in the mirror and just like, oh my God, I look like I'm 10 years older than I actually am. And so I think maybe it's almost gotten back to normal with me being in a slightly cooler, more moist place. And I've been moisturizing. So yeah, it made me really craggly looking. This is from Patrick Washburn. Bradley, good restaurant choices here in Austin. Terry Black's Barbecue, delicious, run by the nephews of the guy who has Black's Barbecue in Lockhart, barbecue capital of the world. Did not know that. And Fonda San Miguel, one of the earliest restaurants in Texas featuring food from the interior of Mexico different from Tex-Mex. That's interesting as well. I didn't know that. I think we got lucky. Well, with Terry Black's, Will Roman from Chisos Boots recommended Terry Black's, and then Fonda San Miguel, I think I just searched for good Mexican restaurants in Austin, and that's the one we picked. And it was really good. And a lot of people said that it was one of the best. Too bad they don't serve huitlacoche soup anymore. The coffee shop is probably Mozart's on Lake Austin, and that is correct. It was Mozart's. If you don't know what we're talking about, check out last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. And next, feedback from Trying to See Without Glasses Contacts. I posted a video last Wednesday in which I took out my contacts and I tried to wander around and see how I would do without wearing contacts, because some people say that if you take off your corrective lenses for a couple hours every day, it could actually help improve your vision a little bit. I don't think anyone's claiming that you can have perfect 20/20 vision if you've gone all your life wearing glasses, but it might help improve it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought I would give it a try, and so I wandered around not seeing things. And I thought it was an interesting video. You should check it out too if you haven't already. Posted that last Wednesday. Where was I here? But Ryan McFadin says in relation to that video, it takes a brave soul to willingly walk into a construction site blind. Haha, seems like that could be a bad idea. And yes, Ryan, I think I mentioned in that video that I may try going to work without my contacts, obviously wearing my glasses while driving. But after that little experiment, I don't think that would work too well. I really don't think that would work too well, but we'll see. Next from Hallie's Ledger and Lace. The first time I wore glasses, I was amazed to see individual leaves on the trees. I don't know what research you're referencing, but there is a book, Take Off Your Glasses, by Jacob Lieberman, that gives you eye exercises. From what I recall, it's the lack of switching focus from near to far, I've heard that as well, and in between that affects your vision. Also, classrooms with no windows and a lack of recess have contributed. Good luck with the experiment. Yeah, it's really interesting. If you guys haven't watched the video, I was mentioning how there's kind of an epidemic of myopia lately in young people, basically nearsightedness, not being able to see things far away. A lot of people assume that it has to do with people doing a lot of close work, looking at screens, reading, being indoors all the time. I didn't do that as a kid. I read a lot, but I also was outside all the time. So I don't know. And I'm outside all the time now, but obviously I'm wearing corrective lenses now, so I don't know. From Dry Fly Fisher, I think this is our final comment. Bradley, I will have to try this. I'm very similar to you as far as vision, negative 6.25 in each eye. I'm negative 5.75. I tell people that it's like looking at an impressionist painting without my glasses. Yeah, that's kind of a good way to describe it, which helps understand my life when my vision isn't corrected. Like you, I just wish I could see, say, 3 feet away so that I could at least read a book without wearing glasses or contacts. Great video that I could completely relate to. And yeah, in the video I mentioned that if I get something I can see. So when I don't have my corrective lenses in, I can see really well, really close up. And then once I'm about 9 inches away, things get blurry. So if I wanted to read a book, I would have to have it like this close to my face if I didn't have my contacts in, as opposed to just like a normal distance away from me like this. So yeah, you know, it's not that big of a deal to have to put on glasses or contacts, but it would be nice not to need them. So gang, thank you for all the feedback and questions and comments. Please keep that coming in. But now it is time for the very best part of the show. And that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Every week we like to thank our supporters on Patreon because they help make this show go. A lot of the videos we post can't be monetized because they deal with things like Latakia, and YouTube doesn't like those things. So your contributions help pay for the fancy camera that is filming this video, the lights that are shining upon me. There is a link in the description box below if you would like to contribute to this kind of content, and there is also that super thanks button below this video as well. But every week we thank those who support the channels at $25 or more a month. People like Kirk Crompton, Glenn, Jason Buckner, Gloria Phillips, MDoftheNorth, David Gaudreau, Nick Papageorgio, John Tice, and Ryan McFadin. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month. Our Hall of Fame member, Peter Straub, you will be missed. And then of course, Bob Magee and Ashes of the Phoenix. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching, for liking, subscribing. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, share the videos, do all that good stuff. Please stay tuned for the Pure Pipe Varietals Syrian Latakia video that we'll be posting this Wednesday. After that, we will be doing a video on the Chisos #1 brushed brown boots that are fantastic. These smell amazing, by the way. Oh my God, they're amazing. And then we're gonna have a video eventually, more videos in the Timeless Style series, a video about the Bark River Aurora Scandi knife at some point. Obviously, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Elden Ring adventures continue with our good friend Kevin the Kurt. But until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been and Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday, Stuff and Things. Oh, I'll see you later. Talking too much. And my foot's asleep. Oh boy. Oh boy.